Hey everybody, Bones here, Bones Garage, just bringing you an update what's going on at the garage. So, 1956 Chevy Bel Air. We took her out for her first test drive after we did all this work. We quieted down the exhaust. We have the new transmission in here, so the transmission was really nice and quiet, but we were hearing noises, and it was coming from the rear differential. We did have the differential apart. When we took it apart, we noticed there was a little bit of extra play between the pinion and the ring gear, backlash. It's expensive to do this kind of stuff and take the differential apart, put new bearings in it, reshim it, put a new crush collar in it and all that. So I said, here's what we'll do. We'll put it in. We'll take it for a ride. If we hear excessive noise coming out of it, we'll pull it apart. I'm not going to charge him to pull it back apart and put it back together. We'll just charge for the actual work we're doing on the differential, the third member. So we went ahead, pulled it back apart, and we took it apart. And yeah, there is a lot of wear. And the crush collar was crushed a bit more than it should have been. So we removed the wheels, removed the drums, pulled the axles out, pulled the center section out, and if you give me a second, I'm going to show you the center, what we have found on the center section. Be right back. So here we have our differential dropout. This is the center section that goes into the differential housing. It's known as a 55T differential. So this is the housing for it. There is your carrier with your ring gear. This is your pinion gear. That is the yoke. So the yoke goes on the pinion like this, and then your drive shaft attaches to here. This pinion gear sits on the differential carrier and ring gear like this. Now, if you look at the way everything is, you'll see that these gears are sloped down this way. And these gears are sloped upwards. So what happens is you have this crush collar. This crush collar determines how far this ring and pinion will sit from each other. So when you first put it in and you have the crush collar, which is at its longest point, when it's brand new, it will push the pinion gear all the way into the ring gear. Now, when you start crushing it down, so in other words, you turn the nut that's on here, it starts crushing this collar and pulling the pinion gear this way onto the ring gear. The objective is not to crush it too much, but not to crush it too little, and you want your ring gear to sit. Give me a second, I'm going to grab something to point with. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have a little pointer. So you want your ring gear to sit right here between this spot and this spot, in the middle of the tooth. You also don't want the pinion gear to sit in the ring gear too far or too deep in, because then it will start binding into the root of the ring gear. Nor do you want the pinion gear to sit too high up on the tooth, because then you're pulling on a weak spot. In other words, you're putting your torque into the weak spot of the tooth, which would be the top. You want it to sit nicely in the center, up, top to bottom, top to bottom. And that is where you're going to get the most strength out of your teeth for your ring gear and the teeth for your pinion gear. And this, a lot of guys in the industry have been doing this for years, still send us their differentials for us to set them up. How you do it is, on your ring gear, you have these shims. These shims sit underneath your pinion gear, your pinion gear. You have the shims. Your shims sit underneath the bearing for the pinion gear. As you change the shim, you will change the depth at which the pinion rides in the ring gear. Then you have the crush collar, which also as you crush it, will change the depth until you get to that sweet spot. And that is how you set up your ring gear and pinion gear to get a nice center spot right here. The next thing you have to do, the pinion gear will be sitting inside the housing case right here like this. And then the ring gear will be sitting here on the bearings here and here, and they will sit there. Then you have your adjusters, which will now move your carrier and your ring gear side to side. So this way you can get your ring gear now to sit perfectly this way on your tooth. And it takes time to do this. Sometimes you can get these done quick. One shot, boom, you're done. You pull it all back apart, put your seals in, put everything back together, and you have everything perfect. You get a good gear pattern, you get good backlash between the ring gear and the pinion gear, and everything is fine. Then there are other rear ends that just fight you all the way, and you can spend a day getting them perfect. A lot of times guys will just throw them in, set them up, and go. You're gonna wear them out quickly when you do that. These are also your spider gears, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are your side spiders, which the axles actually go into. They go in here. So when the ring gears, the pinion gear spins, it turns the ring gears. It turns your side spiders, which in turn turn your axles, which turn your tire and make you move. So this is a really long video. It's about 8 minutes it's gonna be when it's done. So I will cut it there and I will keep you guys up to date as we go. Have fun. Okay, bye.